Hello guys and welcome to ESL Legendary Series for Hearthstone. I am your host for today, Marcin Nemch-Filipovic, and I'm joined by no one else than Janne Savits-Mikkonen. How are you, Janne?
I'm good. I'm really glad to be here. I'm really excited about the matches today.
Oh man, yeah, we're going to have a lot of matches. You can see the bracket right now. Those are the players for today's tournament. Silent Storm versus James, Enduran versus Firebat, Radu, Random, Orange, Colento, Life Coach Izul, Nalguidan?
Nalguidan,
Nalguidan
I
versus
imagine.
Faramir. And Amas Aikilio, Sir Christian versus Sir Strifecrow. Those are our players.
Wow, what a lineup. Really a solid mix of both really well-known established players and a lot of up-and-coming, not so established yet, but players who are looking to get their name out there.
Oh yes, certainly. And those players actually had to go through, like some of those players got invited, some of those players had to go through the qualifiers. Can you explain how did they actually get here to play today?
Yeah, so first of all, Silent Storm. He's the winner of the North American Legendary Series, so he qualified through there. Then we have 8 qualified players who went through open qualifiers. 2 of them are from the Polish qualifiers, 5 of them are from the European qualifiers, and we have 1 from the American qualifier.
Who is representing America then?
Nalguidan.
Nalguidan. He went through the NA qualifier and he is the Latin America champion, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he's not that well known in the European or in the Western scene, but he's one of the best Latin American players. And he won the biggest tournament there. It was Triple L something.
Wow, that's definitely an established player coming into this tournament. Even though not invited, he qualified, and that was an achievement that we had a lot of great players from NA and the region playing in the qualifier. But we also had a Polish qualifier. We have two Polish players, Izul and Aikiliu, qualifying for the Polish one, and we have a lot of invited players. We have people like Farbat, who is our world champion. We have people like Colento, Strifecrow, Amaz, Life Coach, RDU, invited to play versus those people who qualified. Well, that's a big lineup, as you said.
For sure, and the way that it's set up here, all the invited players have been seeded from 1 to 8, so in every single match there is, well, in the first match we have Silent Storm, who went through the NA Legendary Series, but then the 7 last matches are the 7 invited players playing against the open qualified players. So every match should include one of the players that you know already, if you have been following the scene.
Oh yeah, certainly. We will have a lot of interesting matches. We'll have a lot of interesting stories. We'll get to the player stories later when we actually start the matches. But those players will be playing also in a new format introduced for BlizzCon. It's called Conquest format. So can you explain quickly how does the Conquest format work?
Yes, so you bring 3 decks and you have to win 1 game with each of your decks. So this format is the one that will be used for the World Championship this year, and it has been used this past weekend. It was used in the Kingwin for Charity tournament, and it's really picking up in popularity right now, and more tournaments are using it. So it's interesting to see what kind of strategies these players are going to use for the Conquest format, because it's still really early, and there hasn't been that much experimenting done with it, and we don't have like a solid certain strategy that would have come on top, or which would be the most popular. Like, do you want to bring out 3 well-rounded decks that can beat anything, or do you want to pick more targeted decks, like bring the freeze mage and just because you know that you only need to win 1 game with it, so you might be able to do kind of like hit and run and just win that 1 game and don't worry about the warrior at all.
Can you snipe a deck? Like, let's say you bring a handlock and I guess that you brought a handlock. So I prepare 3 decks with BGH so that your handlock will never win against me. Is that a strategy as well?
It might be. I can't tell for sure if that can work, and the way that Hearthstone, it's a card game, so you can't know for sure that you're going to be able to beat the handlock, but that's certainly one strategy that you might bring. But there's also a liability in that, because you might not know for sure that your opponent is bringing a handlock. So if you bring 3 double big game hunter decks, and your opponent isn't running any giants, then that might backfire pretty badly.
That might be bad, yes. So coming with the format, there are no bans. You just bring 3 classes, and then when you win with the class, it's eliminated. So it's like a different design of the format than we had before, because before you could just win with Hunter every game, right? Like or Zoo, like 3-0 your opponent.
Yes.
Here it's impossible. You bring your super Hunter deck, you win versus me, and then the deck is eliminated. You have to win with your rogue, and you have to win with your druid, let's say.
I think it's quite exciting that we are not going to see any 3-0 with mech mage or anything like that, because those games are sometimes a bit not that exciting in my opinion, in my personal opinion. But yeah, I like the format a lot, and we get really excited to see the strategies.
So hopefully you will see more exciting matches like Priest versus Warrior.
It's always exciting.
All right, so guys, we're here in Katowice. We're actually not in Katowice. We're in Tychy. It's a small city near Katowice, but it's all inside Poland. Jan just had pierogi for the first time in his life. So, how do you enjoy Poland so far?
Well, the pierogi was pretty amazing. I'm here only for a short time, so I haven't seen as much as I would like to see, but I'm really liking, like, everything so far has been amazing.
Great to hear. All right, guys, so this is, again, ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series. The players, we have a top 16. Those players play a single elimination format in Conquest format. So 8 players today, because we will be doing it today, 8 players will be eliminated. 8 players will actually advance to the finals in Katowice at IEM, which will be 1 week from now. And those matches are played online. They will play live. The 8 players who advance, they will play live in Katowice. And the prize pool is actually amazing. If I'm not mistaken, we have $30,000 prize pool for the 8 players who advance.
Yes, it's the biggest tournament in Europe so far. Like I think the biggest ones before this have been 20,000 or 25, but this time it's 30. And I am Katowice. Big event, like that's the one you want to win. Like whether you are an experienced player and have been around for a long time, or you are somebody who wants to make a name out of themselves, this is the one you want to win.
This is also the first major event, but we are ready for the first game. So let's see Faramir versus Nalguidan. We see the decks already. So what do you think about those lineups? There are no bans, so they will have to play every deck possibly and win with every deck.
Well, there's Druid from both players, which is not a surprise to me. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 16 Druids today played. But other than that, it's really interesting to see the Warrior and Hunter especially. Mage and Paladin are... well, Mage is really popular, especially Mech Mage. But Paladin has been kind of dropping out of the meta, so to say.
Well, last month at the assembly, or was it 2 months ago, we seen Vortex actually when he went with Paladin with a 12 or 14-2 or something like that. He won with Paladin. So Paladin is definitely a deck that's very powerful. It can win versus everything. I feel like Paladin can lose against itself with bad draws.
Yeah, and it's looking really good right here. He got it matched up against Warrior, which is definitely a favorable matchup for the Paladin.
It's important to mention that that both players, they start with the blind pick. So they pick one of the decks and they are randomly matched against a pick from their opponent. So the mind games. What am I going to start with? What is my opponent going to start with? As Jana mentioned here, a Paladin versus Warrior. So you favor Paladin?
Yeah, for sure. Just based on the hero power, how well it does against the Warrior hero power. Warrior does have tools like the Death Spite, Death Rattle, and maybe some Whirlwinds to deal with the 1/1s, but eventually the Warrior runs out of those. So the Paladin hero power is just so good against Warrior.
So what are also the key cards? Right now, looking at the hands of our players, who has an edge at this moment?
Usually in this situation, I would give the edge to the one who has Harrison, but they both have it, so it's difficult to tell. But I like the Paladin hand slightly more, because the Warrior has no weapon right now.
So, from my experience, this matchup announced in a way that Paladin really wants to bait the brawl. After the brawl, Paladin knows that he can overextend as much as he wants. Do you prefer to play this matchup more aggressively or passively as a Paladin?
I think you can often just sit back and relax, especially with a deck like this with antique heal bots. I think time is on your side if you're playing the Paladin. Oh,
because Paladin actually has a couple of builds as well. Here, our player is running antique heal bot, which is a bit different than like Defender of Argus. He runs Dr. Boom, but I think all the builds, they have Dr. Boom. The difference is a piloted Sky Golem sometimes appears, sometimes disappears from the deck. And what are other differences? Like Black Knights, Sylvanas, possibly?
Yeah, something like that. And if you see the piloted Sky Golems, then there's often also Kel'Thuzad and maybe only one Quartermaster. I think that's, in my opinion, there's like two of their most popular lists. One of them is tempo-based with double Quartermaster and maybe even one Zombie Chow. And the other one is with the heal bot and piloted Sky Golem, so more late game heavy.
Alright, so as Paladin, you said you can sit back and relax. You can also just play minions and start doing damage, chipping in the armor, trying to bait this draw before Dr. Boom. And even after Dr. Boom, if you still have Master for Battle, you basically win endgame with Master and Quartermaster. How do you win as a warrior? Because this is not a 100% win for Paladin. Warrior can still win. What are the key cards for the Warrior to win this matchup?
I just want to point out that sit back and relax is exactly what he's doing here. He did have a lot of things that he could have played there, but instead he chose to just hero opponent on 4. But the way for Warrior to win is often like try to draw a lot of cards, and here he's gonna get a lot of cards with that Harrison. And just draw into your Chromage combo. Go Alex Raza and go for the Chrome combo and finish your opponent with that. So you kind of have to burst down the Paladin.
But there is the Brawl that is... but is this even a moment for the Brawl? You do draw the cards and try to get the whirlwind, I believe?
You definitely draw the cards.
Right,
Does not get the whirlwind, but good for him, there's no Quartermaster coming just yet.
So he'll be very happy when the Quartermaster is not being dropped, and he has Baron so he will be able to remove all the tokens on next turn.
Wow, that Baron is gonna be so good.
So for now, the Baron would be a key card. There is also no BGH for Nalguidan to counter Baron from Faramir. Other than that, they have both like a lot of cards, a lot of decisions every turn, and this match finds to be very nice. What do we know about the players? So Faramir is playing Warrior. He now decides to play Baron. What can you tell me about Faramir?
Faramir is a player who I've personally been keeping an eye on for a long time, how well he's been playing. Like even before he didn't win that much, I was kind of impressed by just watching him play. And now he won a couple of online tournaments recently.
Yeah, Faramir was like the one of the players who grinded throughout the year, and then at the end of the year he made top 8 of DreamHack Winter, and then he won 2 back-to-back tournaments, Tavern Takeover 3, I believe, and Heroes of Cards, I think. So he also got an invite here as one of the most achieved in top 10 in Ghost Gamers ranking. Definitely a contender. Right now, Nalguidan, though, his opponent, is thinking about the play. What do you think? Is it like?
Let me think.
How do you counter this Geddon without BGH?
I don't really see a counter to it. I think I would just drop the Dr. Boom. Usually when you have 7 mana and you have a Dr. Boom, the best place to play the Dr. Boom.
Dr. GG.
Dr. GG. Let's boom, but RNG is always can swing around games.
Interesting. So for now, actually, Faramir has ways to deal with this. He can't shield some. Can he shield some here? Shield Maiden.
He could.
With shield block.
And just hope that the boom bots don't kill anything.
He has the BGH as well. You probably can use BGH. There are no other targets in Paladin deck.
But BGH is kind of awkward here because of the Geddon, because the Geddon is going to kill the big game. So I would lean towards armoring up and like play with the shield block, armor up, just slam that. Play something for the... No, he can't actually play anything for the boom bots. Just go face.
With yeah.
And hope that the Geddon survives.
Geddon actually deals like 9 points of damage.
Yes, that's huge.
So you also have a weapon, another weapon in your hand. So even though you don't have the Ramage or Alex Raza, you're hyper aggressive here.
Wow, this is really interesting with the boom, but this can actually decide the game.
Whoa! Oh my god, the bombs, they don't work at all.
That was amazing for Faramir right there. The damage to face at this point of the game is completely irrelevant. So it's almost as if the boom didn't do anything.
Also he was able to, well, like a third trade, BGH versus Dr. Boom, and then Faramir was able to push the advantage and deal a lot of damage. And it was apparent that Nalguidan doesn't have a way to deal with this Geddon. So he's in the same situation, or even worse, because right now there is the Slash Belcher blocking the way.
He's pretty much dead.
There is no equality. He really hoped for a...
I think that's game. He can heal up here, but... trying to see a way for him to survive.
Well, he probably has to stall. Like, if there is no way to deal with this, you do have to stall.
But I guess that works. It saves him from the rag. Because the thing here is that the Geddon is going to do its effect before the rag. So it's going to clean up some of the board before the rag fires, so you can make sure that the rag connects to face.
There is no way for lethal, right? Like with rag, wait, it's like 11. So even with Ragnaros, there's no lethal. So you probably want to clear somehow.
Yeah, it's not lethal just yet.
Well, for Faramir with the warrior right now, the situation is even the better because the board for Paladin is clear.
Actually, it would have been 1 out of 3 lethal because of the Geddon.
Oh, you're right.
He had 11 damage on the board, 8 from the Rag and 2 from the Geddon, so he could have taken 1 out of 3 chance.
Yeah, true.
But he doesn't really need to take any risks here, I think. He's in such a great spot.
Exactly, the position is such it's just perfect to clear, draw cards, play it safe. He's still attacking with his Geddon to face.
Yes.
Alright, so Faramir is going through the motions, just setting up Acolyte, trying to get a bit more cards. Nalguidan, what can he draw? Is Equality the only card that saves him here? Like stalls?
Has to be an equality.
So Nalguidan is dropping to 12. What can you tell me about Nalguidan? He is...
Wow, he gets it.
He gets Equality, oh my god, okay.
Not over just yet.
Yeah, but looking at Faramir's hand, there is the Brawl, there is a lot of removal, Silence, Shieldmaid, and Ragnaros. And this turn is pretty much dead for Nalguidan. Well, he cleared, but then again, what do? Do you develop Master? Do you risk it?
You have to, I mean, you have to get some kind of board here.
Alright.
He's so far behind, he needs to take some chances here and try to get a good Quartermaster up next turn. If he plays the combo next turn with the Master and the Quartermaster, the minions can't attack.
Yeah, he has some board at least. Grommash would be lethal here. So there is still no Grommash. Ragnaros is not doing it. Faramir just decides to develop his board, clear a bit. He knows that the Quartermaster is a huge possibility.
You quite often want to save the Cruel Taskmaster for a potential Chromaster draw to have the Enrage, but here he thinks that the Quartermaster is such a big threat and that he wants to take care of the 1-1.
True. He doesn't really have a second activator for Grommash. He has the Shield Slam, but with 9 armor.
Yeah, he needs to take 1 damage before he can use
Well,
that.
he has a weapon, so possibly
yeah.
he can attack into something, get the
That does
armor
work.
lowered.
Yeah. But the weapon is not gonna be there anymore.
Yeah, Harrison Jones comes there. Still, like, Harrison Jones is going to draw only 1 card, where the Harrison from Faramir was able to draw 3 cards. And that's one of the things, like, when you're playing versus Warrior as a Paladin. You do drop the Master for Battle, but then you're happy to have the True Silver and quickly swap the Life's Justice for True Silver.
Yeah.
So Nalguidan is able to develop some kind of a board, and he actually takes the board here. Then the 1/5 Shield Maiden is not that threatening, even though there is a silence for Faramir. He's so far off from lethal.
No, yeah, no, there's no lethal again. You don't want to silence that, you have to save it for the Tyrion.
Or Ragnaros.
Rack looks good.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
why not?
You can, I mean, like, you can also silence Ragnaros and the board is getting developed without any taunts.
That's true.
That's the lethal that many players missed recently.
Yeah, it was a sad day for Forsen boys.
Shout out to Forsen. Actually, Alchemix missed the same exact lethal
Oh, he
in
did?
Hearthstone, yeah.
Oh no.
Reporting for duty.
Alright, so we're going to see some action here from Nalguidan. What can you tell me about Nalguidan as a player?
Nalguidan is the Latin American champion, so I haven't seen him play before, but because of that I'm really excited to see him play, and I think he's been playing alright so far.
Oh yeah, certainly. Well, the thing is, like, he's not just a random guy. He had achievements in Latin America. He won the Triple L tournament. He is on a team Baston.
Team Brawl.
Oh, it's the Team Brawl, alright. So Team Brawl, and he's not a random guy. He won, he has experience, and he qualified, so right now playing versus Faramir.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive that there was only 1 spot for the Americas, and this is the guy who got it. There's a lot of American talent out there. So he did something right to best all those other players.
That was a mistake.
Alright, so
Something was a mistake.
something was a mistake, but still no lethal for Faramir, even if he silences his own Ragnaros. So I guess at this point, you're happy that Paladin has only 2 cards in his hand, and you can easily clear the board.
Do you know why he was making the emote? Something was a mistake.
For a mistake.
I was busy talking to you, thinking about like.
Yeah, no, unfortunately I missed it.
Maybe there was some kind of sequencing error with the cards that he played, like in slightly wrong order or so.
BGH comes at a time where Ragnaros is unsilenced.
That's a good time to draw it.
Pretty cool.
I mean, it would have been even better if he had it instantly when the rack was played, but he still does the job, gives him a fighting chance.
Faramir is getting so much armor here. Even though Nalguidan was able to build up some kind of a board, and he's even taking this board back, Faramir just needs 6 points of damage. On the other hand, it's not that easy to deal 6 points of damage being warrior.
No, you can deal 4 quite easily, but 6 is not really... Oh, he does attack. Okay, I was like, I saw the end turn button go there before the attack, so I was like...
You have to. Death Spite.
Yes, there's 2 Death Spite left, and there's the Chrome, which potentially could be there without an activator.
Wow, there's actually no good way to deal with those 1/1 tokens. Do you brawl this board? It's not a brawl.
No, you don't need to brawl it.
No time for games.
Alright, so Faramir is going to develop Sylvanas and Acolyte of Pain to combat this brawl, but there's, oh my god, Lotheb, so this turn will be really nice. Unfortunately for Faramir, Lotheb is not going to stop the brawl from happening, and there is Sylvanas on the board, so for Nalguidan, I guess you have to overextend here. There's like no way, you have to YOLO. Or do you make a smart trade and then develop Lotheb?
I'm trying to think, maybe he should trade everything first and then... Or he could just YOLO here and go like Hero Power and Quartermaster.
It probably depends really on the play style of a player, because some players would just go YOLO because it's like how they play, and some players would definitely consider playing Lotheb and Quartermaster. The problem was this juggler, because if you do play Quartermaster and Lotheb and ignore Sylvanas, you give... I don't... Actually, the more I think about it, I think that was the only play.
Yeah, I agree with this play. It was also the first play that I saw, and ignoring the Sylvanas usually doesn't end all that well.
Yeah, exactly, and specifically if you provide Lotheb for the trade and then he takes something.
Yeah.
And even with the juggles, if you give him cards for Acolyte.
The Sylvanas has to die. Another way to deal with it is if you have a lot of 1/1s, but the board state right there wasn't... Like, you don't... Yeah, there's like no reason to try to give him a 1/1. Just don't give him anything instead.
This game is really interesting because both players, they run out of cards. Faramir has a lot of removal that doesn't work. He gets Alexstrasza, so this will be something, but there's quality.
Huh.
Wow. Well, from my perspective, Paladin is winning right now.
I don't know. I mean, the warrior still has the brawl in his hand, which means that he has more time to draw the Death Spite. When he draws the Death Spite, he can just go face and there's a lethal setup for the following turn.
True. He will have to, but he has to draw with Death Spite. If he doesn't, if he continues drawing removal cards, then this board is going to win in a couple of turns. He gets Death Spite.
0 cards in the hand, you definitely go face with it.
True. But then, if there is a Tyrion or Sludge Belcher top deck,
then you brawl and win afterwards. Like you're good against everything here, really. Well, Belcher would kind of work because the slime will survive, so that would have been okay.
So that's it. That's game. Zombie Chow is not going to help Nalguidan, and Faramir is going to take game number 1.
Pretty good. It's a great feeling to take out a Paladin with your warrior. It's not an undoable matchup for the warrior, but. Oh wow,
Chromash top deck to finish it. But
chooses not to show the Chromash.
Yeah, you conceal information so that your opponent thinks that maybe you did cut it out. Wow. Alright, so Faramir is going to take game number 1, which means that his warrior is eliminated, because this is Conquest format, so we are not going to see warrior from Faramir. Now, Nalguidan can take something else. Like, he doesn't have to. Paladin lost, but it's fine. Like, he can still continue with Paladin. He can take something else. Where Faramir, he has 2 decks left. We've seen Druid and we've seen...
I'm trying to remember what classes he had.
I don't remember as well. Both players played Druid.
Yes, that was the only thing that they had in common. So he had Warrior and... Was it Hunter? I think he has Hunter. So he has Hunter and Druid left. Against Paladin, Mage and
The important thing is, I don't exactly remember the classes, but the important thing is like this Paladin from Nalguidan had a very good chance to like, if Paladin wins versus Warrior, that the Paladin is good. Like it won, it's out. But now Paladin may have matchups that are very difficult for it.
Yes, so that was basically the best matchup for the Paladin, and he couldn't win it, so now it's only going to get harder for him.
Yeah, it's possible that this Paladin will be the losing deck. Like he won't be able to win a single match with Paladin, and that means Faramir is going to take the match.
Yes, so there was Mage and Druid, because Druid, they are both in Druid in common, so...
All right, we can see the classes now. So for Faramir, it's Hunter and
There we
Druid,
go.
and there is Mage and Druid for Nalguidan. Paladin, can it win versus Druid? It can.
Yeah, it's doable.
It's an okay matchup.
I think it's close to 50-50.
Hunter, I think Hunter is really tough.
Hunter is really tough for
Both
Paladin, that's for
mid-range
sure.
and face are definitely, they have a good matchup versus Paladin.
We didn't see that. He did have an anti-kill bot, so that helps a little bit if it's like face Hunter.
Yeah, he can actually stop the face Hunter with anti-heal bot.
But I don't still think it's that great for the Paladin, but it definitely helps.
It's very interesting, like in this new format, in Conquest format, the World Championships format, we discuss mostly if the deck can win at all.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we didn't have in the last Hero Standing format.
All right, so the players changed their decks. Faramir couldn't take his Warrior. He decides to go with his Hunter. And Nalguidan, instead of trying to play with the Paladin again, he is taking his Hunter. What do we see here? This is this mid-range? This can still be a face Hunter. Or
I think he did have a freezing trap in the starting hand. That would signal that
Then
it's
it's
mid-range, yeah. This is really interesting mech mage. I mean, we can see the Snowjacker and the Goblin Blast Mage, so it has to be mechs. But it has some cards that we usually don't see, like the Water Elemental and also the Harvest Golem.
Yeah.
Most people tend to go for the Spider Tank instead, and you can't really afford to have both.
he gets a
Alright.
Huffer. Huffer is always good.
Nothing. I guess it's better than Leok, but it's not that amazing here because the Blast Mage is gonna just take it out.
True. If it actually hits it.
Whoa!
It missed it. That's huge.
Esports.
He has to trade now.
That was unfortunate.
There is an Alnish picked up by Nalguidan.
Yeah, easy Shredder. You wanna
Wait,
hold
is-
on to the
this is
Juggler
actually-
Unleash combo?
This is actually Faramir, right? Faramir is a Hunter.
Yes, Faramir is Hunter.
Alright.
Whoa.
So my experience in this matchup is that being a Hunter, you do want to counter the early game from the Mage, and if you do that, you win end game. Because then even if they have Mirror Entity, and we don't know if there is Mirror Entity at all, because we see Harvest Golem and Water Elemental, but even if they have those cards, you do win because you're faster. Like if you counter the board, you just deny the mechanics for the Mage, then you are able to push through and win.
That was really interesting play last turn with the Hunter's Mark and Bow. I wouldn't have even considered that because of this, how well the Shredder trades for the Blast Mage, and he had the Juggler Unleash. But it's gonna work out all right because he couldn't do the Juggler Unleash here because of the low tap effect.
Yeah, so somehow it worked out for him. Goblin Blast Mage being picked up. But what do you do here? You can trade. Do you just develop mechs? Like Mech Warper,
Yeah.
Harvest Golem, ping the 4/1, and then trade?
No. I think it's Mech Warper or Blast Mage. First you trade the low taps and then you go Mech Warper Blast Mage, because then it's almost impossible to not hit that.
But it is still possible. What do you think about pinging it first? Because you can get a Frostful Grunt.
I think the Mech Warper Blast Mage play is just so good that you can't really pass up on it.
Okay, because you do have a very good chance to kill the 4/1, and you
Yes.
do develop a 5/4 body.
Yes, you get a lot of stats on the board. You get 7 attack and 7 toughness combined with those. But he just chose to go for the 3/6 instead.
And he gets the Walker Cho, which is great for the Mage. Hunter has a lot of spells in his hand. Definitely don't want to use them.
I really feel like that was a big misplay right there. He could have developed a so much stronger board with the Mech Warper Blast Mage combo.
Yeah, like a 2-3 and a 5-4.
Yeah.
And also dealt some damage there.
Blingtron.
Blingtron is great, but it's not that surprising because we've seen a lot of freezes. So people do tend to play this deck. You do change the mechanics of the deck a bit, but it is a fun card, especially because right now the mage is the aggressor here. He is dealing most of the damage.
So now he's going for the Blast Mage when it doesn't really have any good results. I mean, I guess you can hit the Juggler twice.
It's probably the best. I would laugh if that would be a Mana Wraith. Wow, he actually gets the Juggler. Oh my god, that was huge.
Yeah, that was really big because of the 2 unleashes.
Yeah, especially. He couldn't kill the Juggler otherwise even.
No, the Juggler would have done so much work here with the combined with the unleash.
It's just amazing. So Hunter is deciding to go for face. And then for Mage there is 7 points of damage. If he gets a Fireball, that's it.
Or if he gets an Arcanite Reaper.
He can get a Reaper.
No, wait.
Wait, how much?
Is that enough?
Well, he has the Frostbolt, so he can play the Blingtron anyway.
Okay. Let's see, is it a Gore Howl?
Oh man, let's see the weapon. What is it? That's
Not bad at
True
all.
Silver is not bad. It's for attack and it heals.
What is the other weapon? What does the Hunter have?
3 durability. 2-3. Is
It's
that
like a Gog Hammer?
or Stormforge Axe? Stormforge is 2-3, right?
I guess it's the same, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, it's Stormforge.
yeah.
Alright, so for Hunter there's 4 plus 3 from the dogs, because there is not enough space on the board. 7, 9, 14, not enough. So he has to start trading stuff. With Unleash it will be easier to trade, and with Kill Command, well, he can probably develop Belcher and Unleash.
Yeah, he has to.
Right now, the good thing for Hunter is that Mage is out of cards, so the Hunter knows. I trade this board, the only thing that heals me is this True Silver or a top deck Fireball.
Yes.
But he has to develop Belcher, so how do you trade? And I guess you go for
Okay.
face.
Yeah, there's no trade left anymore.
The freezing, the spare part is not that important as well. Like it's not game changing right now. It is cool to have the freeze, but then if you would get the stat swap, then that would be lethal. The switch.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Switch would be lethal. Anything else? No, I think the switch was the only
Nope.
lethal one.
Usually the freeze is one of the best spare parts that you can get, but here it's not doing all that much.
Alright, he's still going to deal a lot of damage.
We can put him down to 2 HP.
So this is mostly how the Mech Mage works. You just get the tempo, you deal damage, and then you try to get that top deck or just win with the hero power. There is no way this Hunter has a heal. So even if the board is cleared, Hunter will be dead in 2 turns. There's Ragnaros. That's not a
Wow.
common card in a mid-range Hunter. I've seen it before, but it's not common at all.
Yeah, okay, that was actually a game. I was like counting it up. Is there a way to survive, but nope.
Alright. So Faramir loses with his Hunter, which means
So
that
it's tied up 1-on-1.
1-on-1, and the Mage is eliminated. So Mech Mage took the win. Mech Mage is a very good deck in this format, right? Because like,
Sure is.
can you imagine not winning a single game with a Mech Mage?
No, not really. But I think it's with deck like Mech Mage, it's not really about the format. I think no matter what format you're playing, that deck is quite powerful. It's one of the most popular decks right now.
True. And then Hunter, well, mid-range Hunter is kind of like the same. It's a very powerful deck and can mostly win versus all the control decks. And it can also win versus Mech Mage, but here Nalguidan had a really good opening, even though he made a couple of plays that you disagreed with.
Yeah, I think there were some small things that he could have done differently, but overall, like he still was able to pull it out. So. For Faramir, still having the Hunter is actually okay because Nalguidan has the Druid and the mid-range Hunter has quite good matchup against that.
All right, he still has the Paladin and has the Druid. So the Hunter should be able to win versus at least one of those decks.
For sure.
And then Paladin still has to win one of those matches. So Paladin will try to snipe the Druid. Right now, the guys have to mind game a bit. Like, is Faramir going to take the Hunter again? And
it looks like he did.
He actually did take the Hunter. So we are going to see Hunter versus Paladin as the third game of this match. This is a best of 5. The loser is eliminated, and the winner advances to the finals on Sunday at IEM Katowice, which is a live event. $30,000 prize pool, 100 BlizzCon points. That's
for the winner. Yeah.
For the winner. That's like being first for 2 months in a row.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're a player who also does well in the ladder, combine those and nobody can catch you.
Yeah, and I think like Faramir actually finished quite high on the January season. All right, so we're going to see Hunter versus Paladin. What can you tell me about those hands?
Both of the hands look alright. I like the Paladin hand just tiny bit more here, besides that he doesn't have a shielded mini, but there's a lot of early game tools. This turn is gonna be quite bad, but after that, there's like only good plays.
I really like being a Hunter. I really like having Juggler and Hunter Creeper, and then just extending that into Piloted Shredder. I think this is just an amazing card. So he also has a Sludge Belcher, so his curve will be not terrible, let's say. And now he needs to hit with this knife.
This is really huge juggle right here, because the Gog Hammer's gonna follow it up.
Oh man, and he
misses it.
So Faramir not being lucky here. That was a 50-50. That was the correct play, by the way, but still.
I really like the decision to coin out the Alder on turn 2 there. You quite often want to save it for something like a high main or things like that, but in this situation it was so good because he has the Gog Hammer to follow it up.
What do you think about Gog Hammer overall?
I really like playing one. It's a bit tricky to play because you have so many weapons in the Paladin, but maybe like the line of thing that I've taken with Pala is that you don't really count the Master of a Battle weapon, so it's not that many in the end.
So basically you have 3 weapons, maybe 4 with Ashbringer from Tyrion.
I don't know what he's thinking about here. I think it's like really obvious. Go Hammer, kill the Juggler, go face.
Is he thinking about Master? Not really.
No, this is just... yeah. Does go with that.
Well, that assures Nalguidan is getting an advantage here, clearing the board almost with only the Spider on the other side and having this 3-1. That will be... this will easily trade with Piloted Shredder.
Yep. It makes the Piloted Shredder really weird play. You don't want to play it, but you have to play it. I mean, you're not going to kill a command to that.
Yeah, you do have to play it, because you can get something really incredible from the Piloted Shredder. Or something terrible as well.
Yep, could be anything.
Oh my god, there is a silence. So, wow, now Nalguidan has actually a couple of plays. He could silence that, he can develop his own Piloted Shredder. He can also, not really muster here, there is no need, I guess.
He was hovering over the attack on the Piloted Shredder. I guess he's thinking that he has to keep the Owl for the high main now, since he doesn't have the Alder anymore. Because high main is something that you always have to keep in the back of your mind when you're playing against the Hunter. How do I deal with that high main when it comes down on turn 6?
Yeah, certainly, especially because he also doesn't have Consecration, and he didn't have Equality. Now he has the Equality now, but if Hyman is being dropped on turn 6, which is just next turn, then he will have a means to counter that. Yep. Well, for now, that Sludge Belcher is actually pretty big on this board. It's a great counter to Piloted Shredder. So how do you counter that? Do you... well, I guess he is not respecting the high main.
But he did back up the Equality, so that helps a tiny bit with dealing with that. And given the hand that he has, I feel like he has to go for the Owl. Just pray that there's no high main coming up next turn.
Alright, so he's going to go for the trades. He can also... I'm still not sure if you want to develop Master for Battle. I think you can. Like, the mid-range Paladin doesn't run the explosive traps. You know there are mostly freezing traps.
It's kind of weird against Unleash the Hounds. But in this situation, like, if he knew the card, he would play the Master every time, since there's no Unleash.
Yeah.
But the Belcher, he can probably make come to the conclusion that there's no explosive traps, like you mentioned.
Oh man, there could be actually an unstable ghoul. That would be weird. Yeah, Piloted Shredder. What do you think about the Piloted Shredder overall? I think the card is great, even though it does provide some RNG. Still, like a 4/3 body on turn 4 that can turn into like even a 3/2.
I really like the card. Like when GVG was getting released, we did these listings of the cards that we predict are going to be one of the best ones, and I think I actually listed Piloted Shredder as number 1, which was obviously incorrect now because we have seen how good Dr. Boom is. But still, like it's really strong card, and the only thing that's bad about it is how poorly it does against the Belcher, because Belcher is 3/5 and that's a 4/3, so it doesn't really line up that well.
But maybe it's because the card is balanced. Like if it would kill the Belcher, then you know.
I agree on that. I think the card is in a really good spot, and the RNG on that was something that I was really worried about when I saw the card. Oh, is this going to be awful for competitive and stuff? But I actually think that it's not a problem at all. And the RNG on Piloted Shredder is completely okay, unlike
Dr. Boom.
Yeah, the Dr. Boom is kind of okay. I mean, you can deal with it with a big game hunter, but the Boombot's swings that they make in some games, like whether it goes to phase 1 or kills off an Azure Drake, I'm not a huge fan of the Boombots personally.
Yeah, me too. Like Dr. Boom as a 7/7 is fine, but the Boombots that they do too much sometimes, and the swings are. Well, Krip was saying that Dr. Boom is not that unbalanced because in turn 7 you should be able to deal with it. Like there are cards.
Like I think in an interview in the North American Legendary Series, Mike Donay from Blizzard commented on it that it's 7 mana card and you still get to do your strategy. So it's not like the Undertaker was like a huge problem.
Yeah.
It's also like Dr. Boom is a neutral card, so you can put it in your own deck no matter what class you're playing.
We're going to put our faith in the light. There is a Tyrion
Yes.
drop. The board for both players is a bit... well, it's huge, but...
Oh
my god, that top deck.
I was just about to say that there's no answer to Tyrion, but...
Wait, this is lethal then? This is 6 plus 5, 11, 14, 16.
1 off, right? Yep, he's 1 off.
Wow.
He definitely should go for it, but it's not gonna work out that well because there's the Healbot.
Well, Healbot is not a card that every Paladin plays, so
No,
going
not at
for face
all.
here is definitely correct.
I agree. Even if there was a lay on hands, there's still gonna be some minions left. Because if you lay on hands here, then you can't play anything else unless you have like a zombie chow, but that's ridiculous. But definitely I agree with the play. This is gonna be exciting to see how, if he can pull himself out of this spot.
Nalguidan with 1 point of health, he needs to play that Healbot, so this means he only has 4 mana as a wiggle room. Can he trade with everything, clear the board and heal himself up?
I think he's gonna go for the double juggler and then Healbots. I mean the Healbot.
Oh my god, a part is something he really wanted to see instead of a 4/4 or a minion that does stuff.
The freezing trap is not gonna be very good because of the anti-Healbot, so he's actually gonna get double heals from it.
Wow, yeah, this
Maybe
is
in a couple of turns.
This is the moment where you really hated the freezing trap as a hunter.
Yeah. Now, I wish we had face cams here. I would want to see how Faramir feels about that heal, but...
Oh, he probably wants to concede. There is a high main, but it's not going to change anything. Is there lethal? That's 11 plus 6, 17. That's lethal for Nalguidan. So
that's game.
That's game. So Paladin is going to win his first game. So this will be the last we're going to see Paladin in this match. And really excellent play from both players.
I think he should have tested for freezing. I mean, for the trap there and go with one of the jugglers into the high main, but that was a pretty tiny thing and didn't matter there. Because if it was an explosive, then there's like no downside to attacking with the juggler to the play around the explosives.
Like, so you would play around the explosives still.
Yeah, and you can see whatever it is. Like attacking the knife juggler into the high main would have showed you whatever trap it is.
Well, this is a trap that people fall into. Like, you assume that the deck is the standard build. So somebody brings a mid-range hunter, you're like, yeah, there are no explosive traps. There's like no way. And somebody actually has 1 explosive trap and 2 freezing. Yeah. And they're like, what? Wait, what just happened?
That actually happened to me in when one of the last games that I played in last month's season. It was like some hunter guy who was really high on ranking. He was like ranked 10 in Legend, and he actually was running 1 misdirection. And
Okay. You do not play around misdirection.
no, I did not play around misdirection, and that ended up kind of poorly. I haven't seen a misdirection in like 2 months, and now trying to get that high ranking for the end of season rankings, and then I got a bit misdirected.
Savitz, Hunter is a good class, right?
Yes.
It just lost 2 games. This Hunter is winning Nalguidan the series, almost. And Faramir is just confident that Hunter can win at least 1 game. So he's continuing to pick the Hunter for the last. It's not the last. It's like Hunter versus Druid now. So if Faramir loses this with his Hunter again, he's out.
Yeah, but this is the matchup that you want with the Hunter. Druid is one of the better matchups. Druid is a class that can beat absolutely anything if you get the Wild Growth and Innervate. But Hunter is definitely favored, and I could imagine this going into Game 5, where we see the Druids go at each other.
Wow, Druid got a Wild Growth. So what we can see from here is that the Druid is running Combo Druid as opposed to the Taunt Druid. He's going to Wild Growth, he's going to develop... He mulliganed Shredder. I guess he was really wanted this Wild Growth or an Innervate.
Yeah, I agree with that. I never give that Shredder either. I don't think it's that great of a card in this situation, like, because he didn't have the Wild Growth yet, so you wanna maximize your chance of finding it or an Innervate.
And for Hunter, there is a Web Spinner and another Web Spinner for turn 2. So he's going to get some beats. Like, even though Web Spinner is not doing much damage, it is a cycle card. It is doing some damage. And then it can be a very good card. And again, like a Gazrilla, or you can get a very good beast that not only will fit the curve, it will also provide you with a huge beast that's hard to deal with. But basically, as a Hunter in this matchup, you do want to have a curve. You do want to have this Animal Companion, followed by Pyro to Shredder, Belcher into High Main, into Boom, and this is how you win. Like, if Druid... if you get an advantage, and if you snowball, Druid doesn't have a way to deal with that. Like, Druid is really bad in coming back from behind.
That's true. Druid has one of the weakest AoEs in the game. I mean, Swipe is... It's a good card, but it's more like a single target removal and just a tiny bit of AoE. And you don't have like that kind of AoE like the Priest has Organized Circle or Paladin has Equality Consecration. There's nothing like that in the Druid, so if you manage to flood the board early on with the Hunter, there's almost no coming back for the Druid.
There's actually a very important pickup with Pilot Shredder from last turn, so the curve is shaping to be very amazing. Starving Buzzard from 1 Web Spinner, so possibly, maybe we'll see the Starving Buzzard Unleash the Hounds combo.
Yeah, this is getting really excited. That Gesan Mystic also might play a big role later on in the game when a trap comes down.
Also, we are seeing double Pilot Shredder, and what I wanted to mention before is Pilot Shredder is creating a very difficult board.
Well, that was a bit weird. I would have traded first with Drake, because you really don't want to hit the knife on that. And he also could have gotten an extra charcoal and try to...
I agree.
That might have been a tiny misplay.
There is a Chasm Mystic. And that's also important because one of the key cards in this matchup is the Freezing Trap.
Yeah.
Freezing Trap is just stopping... mostly Druid plays card by card. As we see, Druid has an empty board right now. So he will play at 1 minion.
Wow.
Wow, the top deck. Savannah High Main coming to the board. And this...
I was just about to say that the Druid has a big lead here, looking at the hands, but that High Main...
The Druid had the lead. But with High Main,
yeah, not anymore.
It's also interesting that there is no Freezing Trap. Like, there was no Mad Scientist for Faramir, and where he can be irritated about that. Right now, he's pretty lucky.
It would have been so funny if he stole the Freezing Trap and then the Novice Engineer attacked into it.
Oh my god, he's actually going to do it, I feel. Wait.
Oh no.
But there's the Belcher.
But he has the Wrath, so he can Wrath the 1-1.
Can he actually steal the trap and still clear the board? Yes, he can, I feel. He can Wrath the 1-2. He can Shapeshift. So he can... Oh my god, he's going for...
Oh yeah, he can...
Trade,
yes,
kill the 1-2 with Wrath, then
yes.
Hero Power 1-1 and steal the trap.
That has to be the play, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's like even if it's not the best play, it's the play that's really...
It's the best play.
It's probably the best play.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to...
Oh, the Unleash the Hounds.
Yeah, Unleash the Hounds still deals with freezing, but you have to go for this. And if he unleashes, there's not going to be that amazing value from it.
How popular is Chasm Mystic in a Druid deck? Is it like Nalguidan's addition, or is it something we've seen before?
I haven't seen Kazan very often. I've tried it myself, but it's just I find it better to just be running like 2 zombie chows, because those also trigger the freezing traps. Those also trigger the mirror entities. So against the secret decks, I found that Zombie Chow is more solid because it also does a lot of work in other matchups.
Wow, there is no Unleash the Hound, so this high main is doomed for now to get frozen by the freezing trap. And Nalguidan is getting a bit of an advantage here. He has this big board.
That Gezan was so good.
Yeah, maybe in Conquest format is actually a fantastic card to play. You know, against mech mages and hunters, this is a card you can play and win those games.
If you expect those, but I mean, the way I think about it is that I actually don't like it for the Conquest, because you don't, like in last hero standing, you can make sure that you can match up the deck with Gezan against the deck with secrets. But in Conquest, it's completely possible that you just get matchups where your opponent doesn't have any secrets.
Alright, we are probably going to see scenarios here just to develop the board. There is no Savage Roar for Nalguidan, but there is Force. And what's really important is that Hunter is also, Faramir is out of cards. He has the Beast, but Buzzard is not drawing for now. He really wants to get these Unleash the Hounds.
He doesn't find it.
This Kazan just locked the games. Jaime was dropped on 6 and didn't attack for 3 turns.
Like we were talking about it, how the high main is turning around the game, but then the Hunter's own freezing trap is keeping the high main at bay.
I would call it Nalguidan's freezing trap. That would be the play.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this, I feel like I need to give another try to the Kazan in trade, because that card, it's just won the game for him most likely. I mean, it's not over yet, but it's almost an unlosable position for now.
I'm thinking if there is any merit. Like right now, he needs to value if he wants to go for phase or if he wants to troll the high main even more. I think trading will actually. If you Force of Nature and swipe, do you swipe if you Force of Nature? Do you have to? Like I would love to kill Scientist and trigger the second freezing trap with one of the trends.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
But then how do you get your mana here? You don't want to attack with scenarios. You want to attack maybe Mad Scientist or face. Like you don't want to attack Max now. Maybe I don't like using swipe that much. Maybe there's a way to not use the swipe here. Oh, he's
okay, that's interesting. I actually like this a lot. I didn't even think about that, but
yeah,
that's amazing. That's really good.
Yeah, that's actually an amazing move. Like we were fixated on the fact that high main is going to get the freezing trap, but he actually makes a move here.
Wow, I did not see that play, and I like it a lot. That was so good.
An exceptional play from Nalguidan, just getting the high main down and using the freezing trap still. Dealing damage.
Oh, that's exactly the card he wanted.
Unleash the Hounds here.
That was... Is there still hope for him? There might be.
How much damage is there? 7 plus 3? I mean, I'm trying to count damage. No, the token is going to die here. Freezing trap.
Wow.
Oh my god, he's going to trade those two.
What an amazing...
2-2 with Max now.
What an amazing sequence of draws. I mean, getting the Buzzard from the...
And then there is a freezing trap.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. He can actually win the game now. That's a comeback.
He just drew 4 cards and got the board to himself.
This is anybody's game still with the freezing trap.
That was crazy. I thought the game was over, but it was not.
Yeah, there is no. He used double Force of Nature, so now he needs to, and he used scenarios. So now he has Savage Roar, but he doesn't have the board, and the best board build-up is scenarios. He still has Dr. Boom, but here he's like, it's a very weird situation. And this Maxna, like, what do you play? Like, you need to kill this Maxna somehow. So you swipe and keep her Maxna, or do you silence Maxna and then play something else? But there is the freezing trap, so you need to attack with something.
That's freezing trap.
This is, and you do want to kill the Buzzard. Like you do not like Buzzard.
Yeah, you have to kill it, one way or another. Yeah. With this play, he can swipe the Maxna. Then Keeper of the Grove, the Maxna, and Hero Power, the
Buzzard.
The Buzzard, yeah. I think that's what we're gonna see.
And then you basically face the Haunted Creeper, which is not that amazing, but...
Nope.
How did you like attack with Shade?
I don't really see the point in attacking there. I guess there could be a bow coming later, he just wanna give extra charges, but the Shade can't really be killed because nobody's running flares, so if you wanted to trigger that,
actually there was
you could have triggered it later on.
He was checking for Snake Trap.
Oh, that could be it, I guess. But
If that's a snake
but you
trap,
could still you could attack first with the hero power into
the buzzard.
the buzzard, yes, and
But
then
then-
you would see if it's snakes, because you're gonna swipe afterwards anyway.
Well, if it's snake trap, you're in a bad condition anyway. Like there's no way not to trigger.
Oh
the
yeah,
snake
he
trap.
throws the cards, right?
Yeah, he draws the cards, but then there's like no way to not trigger the snake trap. I feel
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Even with doing it that way, right?
unless he just keeps the buzzard alive. Mm-hmm. But still, that was.
I mean, even the attacking with the shade triggers that, so there's like no way.
Didn't he attack face with the shade?
Did he?
I think he did.
Oh, okay. I thought he attacked the creeper. I'm not sure.
Dr. Boom. We talked about it. Dr. Boom was a great comeback card, and this is the card he needed. Maybe not this turn, but still,
He's scared of dying.
yeah, he needs to be very careful here. And there's Juggler in the dogs, and a high main.
Juggler and 4 dogs.
4 dogs. That's a lot of dogs.
With 3 dogs from the Unleash and 1 dog just for having it.
So Faramir is going to unleash the hounds, or is he? He gets getting some tokens from the Haunted Creep. Oh,
Looks like he wants to play the high man.
high main, yeah.
Can't really blame him for that.
Well, the freezing trap is out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, both of them. So even if there is a Chasm Mystic,
Yeah.
now he's like, okay.
Yeah, this has to be the play. And he is still out of the combo range. If he didn't land the last Jackal though, then he would have been dead to it. But he knows that one of the Force of Nature was already played.
That's it, by the way. Is there a way not to die here? You can heal. Well, you can heal, I guess. And
Yeah, healing might keep you alive for 1 more turn.
So if you heal yourself, get a 5/5, kill Lothab with a hero power, and kill the Juggler, then you're getting to 10, and there is 10 points of damage. No, wait. Your
No,
opponent
you,
will be one
you
off.
just trade the shade with the low tap and then heal.
And hero power Spider. And then how much damage is there? 11.
But I mean, I don't see a winning play here. I see a play that keeps him alive for 1 more turn, but there's like no way he can make a comeback with this. But I
Yeah.
mean, there's nothing else, I guess. I
Well-
mean, he could have wild growth for the draw to try to get the last swipe. There's one left, right? I think there was one left, but so he could have tried that, but...
Yeah, there should be 1 swipe left. But this is it. Like this should be lethal
Yep,
here.
it is.
11.
There's
plus-
11 on the board and he has the Houndmaster. He's trying to hide the Houndmaster, so I guess it's better to use the Unleash.
Yeah, Handmaster is a card that some people can cut, so hiding it is important. Well,
Yep.
how important is it? Because you won't be able to use your Hunter anyway.
Oh yeah, that's true. In this format, it's irrelevant, yeah, because he's not gonna play the Hunter anymore. And I think that the players are going to get to, or they will get to change their decks for the top 8. So
Alright, so Faramir takes the game and ties the series 2-2. Hunter was able to win finally after
Yep.
3 tries.
that was some. It looked so bad for him, but then he got the 4 cards with the buzzard and completely wasn't
Yeah.
able to turn it around.
Buzzard and Unleash. It's been a long time.
Yeah, like, all right, congrats, Nalguidan, and then
Yeah.
then picks the Haunted Creeper in the buzzard.
But still, what an amazing game with the Kazan Mystics leading the Freezing Trap. Jaime not being able to attack for 4 turns.
Wow, it was so good for him.
And Nalguidan doing the play with killing the Jaime and using the Freezing Trap again.
Yeah, some really nice plays there, but in the end it just didn't work out.
So right now the series is down to Druid versus Druid. Whoever wins the Druid matchup, the Druid mirror match, is going to win and advance to Sunday to top 8 to play for the $30,000 prize pool and the BlizzCon points. Whoever loses this game is out.
Okay, I'm not completely sure. Is Nalguidan always the top player, right?
I'm not sure, but right now it seems well, it's Druid versus Druid. So anyway, Salvador. We will see. But
Okay, so-
what do you think about the hands? It is a mirror match. It seems like it's a combo Druid versus combo Druid. Oh yeah, now I'm sure. It's a real mirror, Zombie Chow into Zombie Chow.
Yeah.
No wild growth for both. There is one Innervate. Piloted Shredders.
The Innervate is the leading hand for now. Savage Roar and Scenarios are both cards that you don't want to see in your opening. So actually the top player has way better hand. He has the Shade, he has the Innervate instead of the Roar and the Scenarios.
Well, turn 2, a Piloted Shredder into turn 3 Shade is very powerful. Or do you try to Wrath? Because if you play Pilot Shredder...
I want to see the Shade. I actually wanted to see it on turn 1 already with the Innervate. In these matchups, there's no way to deal with the Shade from stealth, aside from something like Sylvanas if you play that. So I've come to the conclusion that if you can Innervate out the Shade, you usually should do it no matter what your other cards are.
Alright, so can you take me through the matchup, like overall? This is a mirror match, so we know this is the Phase Druid versus Phase Druid. What's important and who has an edge, like, mid-game? Like, how do you win this matchup?
Shades are huge, and obviously the Wild Growths and the Innervates. Like, the first key point is the Shade. Like, how much can you do with the Shade? And another really important thing is that who gets to play the Ancient of Lore first? Who finds the time to play it and get those extra draws and have more options available for them? Because I mean, they can play it on like first one player based and then the second player based both play it on turn 7 or so. But being the first one to play it gives you a big advantage.
All right, that's really a fair point. And what about being aggressive and as opposed to trading? When do you go for face and when do you trade still?
When you get ahead, you go face usually. But it's also that you need to keep the Savage Roar in the back of your mind. It can happen before turn 9 in combination with the Force of Nature, and a lot of druids are running 2 of their Savage Roars. Even if they run only 1 Force, there's usually 2 Roars. So you need to keep it in mind that they might have that in hand and not ignore the opponent's minions too much. But when you find the opportunities to go face, you should definitely take it.
Here we could see a very powerful turn with Druid of the Claw, trading with Druid of the Claw, and Wrath taking care of the Spider the Shredder, but still a keeper, and the board is back.
There.
Yeah, Dr. GG, developing the board. That's the card. Also for Nalguidan, there is a combo in his hand and scenarios, so after Dr. Boom, that's such a strong follow-up. So this is Faramir. Faramir has the Trog. Faramir knows stupid. He knows how to play Druid versus Druid. Oh my god, that has to hurt. The Shade. Dr. Boom.
So painful. Nalguidan had their Wild Growth and Faramir didn't, because he got to do his stuff.
Oh wow, there's second Savager.
I think...
you do Savager runs, I feel, and just go for face. No point in keeping second Savager for Miraculous Innervate for turn 10, 22 points of damage.
Definitely get the damage in here. The boom bots are likely to drop him below 14.
Yeah, like they can actually survive even.
Oh yeah, if they survive, then in that case they also get the buff from the second Savage Roar, and that makes the combo even better.
Alright, so we are going
I think that's game.
Yeah, we are going to see the Belcher here, but...
Oh, only one. Okay.
Okay, with 1 it's not game yet, but it's definitely pretty close.
I think it depends on what he rolls from the boom bot.
Is there any reason to actually combo here, or do you develop scenarios? Is there a chance to kill? If you, let's say you do combo, you do Force Nature Savage.
No, there's no way, because the combo itself is 14. And the boom bot alone, even if he lands it perfectly, he can't take out the Belcher.
If he deals 4 to face.
4 to face.
Doesn't matter?
He's still 2 damage off, because he has to run 1 treant into the Belcher and his face into the Slimes, and that's 8 more.
Alright. Developing scenarios is an excellent play. As we mentioned before this, it's really hard to just clear the board. Alright.
So he has 2 lores, which are usually good, but he's so far behind that they kind of suck right now.
Yeah, Dr. Boom into scenarios with 1 Savager to deal damage was too much for Faramir. So Faramir right now facing death, Vengeance of Lord, he has to heal himself and hope that there is no second Savager, but he probably knows. Like, you normally don't Savager on 8 to attack. So
that's 12.
There is no way it's lethal.
That's lethal, yes, and he's not gonna miss it, no way.
Yeah, especially because Boombot can kill the Belcher by itself, and then you maybe get a hit.
So Nalguidan punching his ticket to Katowice.
Nice. So Nalguidan is going to be our winner, the Latin American champion from the NA qualifier, defeating Faramir, one of the better European players. Faramir is going to get eliminated, and we are not going to see him in Katowice, but we are going to meet Nalguidan in person in just 1 week. An amazing play for both players. I really enjoyed those matches.
It was an excellent match. Like all the games were really close, and what a finish there.
So let's quickly go for the games. We've seen a Paladin versus a Warrior, where Nalguidan had an advantage, but Faramir showed excellent skills with the Warrior and won the match.
Yes.
Then Faramir took his Hunter, Nalguidan took his Mech Mage. And the game was pretty interesting. Well, the Mech Mage was interesting as well. So he advanced 1 versus Druid versus Hunter. Then he took his Paladin again.
Yep.
And 1 versus Hunter again. He had the heal bot, so some pretty interesting deck building choices. Different decks than that you usually see. And it all ended up with, well, Hunter was able to win versus Druid, and it all ended up with a Druid versus Druid match, which we've just seen with amazing plays. And wow. So I'm not sure which match we're going to see next, but well, that's a pretty good warm-up. I'm excited for the rest of the matches.
Yeah, me too. This is only game 1 that was so good, and we have 7 more matches to go.
What do you think about the format, though? Like, we've experienced Conquest for the first time in a major event here in Katowice, ESL Studio. What do you think about that? Like the switches, the mind games.
I love it, because we're never going to see the same matchup twice in a row. Because if we see like that infamous warrior thing, well, I guess you can't see it again in Blast Hero Standing either, but it brings a lot more variety that we don't see Mech Mage going 3 times in a row or so. I like it.
I love it personally as well, like the blind picks and the mind games there, and Faramir trying to win with his Hunter, finally getting it. But guys, we're going to go for a short break, and after that we are going to return with another match and more Hearthstone for you.